Now, from a production standpoint, this is easily one of my favorite things that we've developed this year, and we've actually been using them for probably a year and a half or two, but really using it a lot the last year or so are these 9 opening action and template combinations, and 4 opening and 3 opening actions, because well, if it's a redundant process, then there should be the possibility at least to create a template and or action to go along with it. So I made these 9 opening and 4 opening and 3 opening templates for these products. And the 9 opening is a 30 by 30, the 4 opening is a 20 by 20, and I think the 3 opening is a 10 by 30. I'm not 100% positive, but it's all in there. The biggest thing is for these things to work, you open the template. This is the template for the 4 opening. Then you open 4 images, and I'll just open these 4 here. The biggest thing is you have to keep in mind that the images for these products need to be cropped square beforehand, because Photoshop isn't going to be able to distinguish what a good crop is on its own. But as long as you've gone through and custom cropped your images square, then these will work just perfectly. So what I have here is the template open and then the 4 cropped images open, and I'll go to vGallery 4 opening action, and you notice I have one with a vignette and one with no vignette for high key imagery and stuff like that, when you don't want a vignette applied. But otherwise, if you just click play after opening the action, it'll go through and do all your resizing for you. Now, the very first thing it does is the last image you open becomes your background as well, so you want to keep that in mind on the canvas. So basically, it takes that very last image and blows it up to a 20 by 20 at 300 dpi. Now, at the same time, it's going to apply a Gaussian blur to that, so you don't have to worry too much about it falling apart, because it's just going to be the background on the canvas. You don't have to worry about it, causing artifacts or any sort of problems, pixelation, because it gets blurred out. And in worst case scenario, everything is at the very end anyway. So if you need to make any adjustments, you can, because it's not flattened or saved and closed, anything like that. The finished product, as you'll see in just a second, are the 4 images on the canvas, with strokes and drop shadows and everything applied. So it's pretty much done for you for the most part. We use this a lot. What this is really great for is creating these on spec for your client, because you don't want to spend hours and hours or even an hour creating something, and then your client comes in and says, oh, they're not interested or they don't want it or whatever. Now, the rest of these images don't necessarily go with this one that well for this example, but and they're all different people for one thing. But what you'll notice is you can still move these images wherever you want them if they don't happen to show up in the right order, and the guides are all there. You can have it so that they just snap to the guides. But the point is, it creates it for you. This was all done for me. So now I can just show you what the finished product looks like. And it's pretty darn good, especially for spec. And I really didn't have to do any work except for open the files and hit play. Again, we have this set up as a 9 opening, so there'll be 9 of these images all across at a 30 by 30, this 4 opening, and a 3 opening with everything across horizontally, 1, 2, and 3. Saves an awful lot of time, and that time is money.